Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog, and well, we gotta talk about Chet Holmgren. I know we talked about the Josh Giddey thing, but Chet Holmgren has been running away with the Rookie of the Year race this year. And if you guys watched my video about the NBA award races at the beginning of the season, I picked Chet Holmgren to actually win Rookie of the Year, and everybody was like, it'll be Victor Wembanyama, or it'll be Scoot Henderson. And they're not bad picks, but I was never really high on Scoot Henderson to start with. I really didn't see what people were so hyped about with Scoot Henderson. The best I think he'll ever be is like John Wall. And not that that's a bad thing. John Wall's still a pretty good player. It's just I don't really see, like, some of the comparisons people were drawing for Scoot Henderson, like John Morant and all this other stuff. I was just kind of like, I just don't see that. You know what I'm saying? I see a guy that's good at playmaking and finishing around the basket and stuff like that, but as far as his NBA career has gone so far, I understand that injuries have played a big part of it, but I simply don't see what everybody else sees in Scoot Henderson. That's just my opinion on it, but I'm sure he'll get better as time goes on, but I still think like his ceiling is John Wall, or something of that caliber. But Chet Holmgren specifically, it has just been running away with the award. I'm going to call it what it is. And the main reason I think I picked Chet Holmgren to win Rookie of the Year at the beginning of the season was just because, like, I understand he got injured last year, but you have to understand that even a rookie like that getting injured and being out for the entire season, like, after his surgery is done, at some point he gets to start training with NBA coaches again, okay? And he's been with the Oklahoma City Thunder organization for an entire year already without even playing for them. So I was kind of like, he had an entire year to basically prepare for this moment. You know what I'm saying? To be, get a start in the NBA. Like, he was on an NBA roster before he even had to play an NBA game, right? And, he's got team doctors over there. OKC has one of the best, I think, development staffs in the NBA, if we're being quite honest, probably the best. And I was just thinking to myself, like, we've seen what, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has become. Lou Dort's a pretty good player. We saw what Josh Giddey became, right? Like, so the idea that Chet Holmgren's been in this team for an entire year before he even takes the court for the first time ever in a regular season NBA game, I was like, yeah, like, he's going to be way better than people expect. And sure enough, like, we saw it in Summer League, and I was like, somehow people were still picking Wemby over Chet Holmgren, and not that Wemby's been bad, because he hasn't. I would say he's easily second in the NBA right now for Rookie of the Year. But it's just the idea, like, Wemby's efficiency numbers are nowhere near Chet Holmgren's efficiency numbers. Chet Holmgren right now is averaging 18 and 8, and I think he's averaging, like, just around 2 blocks a game, if I'm correct. He's averaging, 2.3 blocks a game, and it's kind of crazy as a Pacers fan, because I think to myself, like, this is what I expected Miles Turner to be when we drafted him, but unfortunately, like, Miles Turner's all right, but, it's just Chet Holmgren. Like, right now, Oklahoma City is second in the West with their record being 11-5, and they're currently fourth in the NBA on defense, and I feel like Chet Holmgren has a big part of that. He's also shooting 88% from the free throw line, which for a 7-footer is fucking ridiculous. He's shooting, I think, 43% from 3 at the current point in time and 56% from the field. And his opportunities just keep going up. In the past 5 games, I think he has 2 30-point games. Chet Holmgren is just one of those guys that I'm starting to think, like, maybe his ceiling is higher than even I thought it was. Chet Holmgren's a guy that I was like, yeah, like, he can put the ball on the floor a little bit. Not as good as Wemby, maybe, but, like, he can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot the 3. He shoots free throws relatively well. They're both very impressive, by the way. Like, I just want to say that. I don't want people to take this as, like, a me shitting on Victor Wembanyama video, because he is going to be a very good player. But Chet Holmgren has just had, like, an immediate impact. And he's just, like, it's crazy how much he's taken Oklahoma City from being, like, basically a 7th or 8th seed to being the 2nd seed in the West at the current point in time. Now, I will say this. I think the team's record may be, makes them look a lot better than they actually are as a team. But nevertheless, like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is still he's actually in the MVP conversation at the current point in time. If you go look at Basketball Reference, him and Tyrese Halliburton along with Embiid and Jokic. But Chet Holmgren being added to this roster, I think it just gives them a second weapon, which they've really needed for a long time. And it just, to me, it was kind of shocking, actually. Like, I was shocked that more people didn't have Chet Holmgren winning the Rookie of the Year award, because I'm like, bro, he was the number 1 overall pick, not this past year, but the year before in the draft, and didn't even play. And, like, people were kind of acting as if, like, Chet Holmgren just didn't exist, or as if Chet Holmgren, wasn't, like, on the same level as Victor Wembanyama. And I was just like, bro, like, Chet Holmgren is, we saw it in Summer League. If you actually watched OKC's Summer League games, or even just watched the fucking highlights, you could have been like, yeah, Chet Holmgren's going to be pretty good. And I get that people don't take Summer League as, like, definitive, and you should take it with a grain of salt, but it's just the idea. It's like, you can get an idea for, like, how good a player is going to be, or how good a player, like, what's their feel for the game, how good are they at getting to their spots, are they good at boxing out, do they grab rebounds, stuff like that. And Chet Holmgren was very, very impressive in Summer League, and I was like, yeah, he's probably going to be in that conversation. And I was just shocked to see how many more people didn't have him in that conversation for Rookie of the Year, because it was just all Scoot Henderson, Victor Wembanyama, and I'm like, okay, like, there's this 7-footer that plays for OKC that's pretty fucking good, regardless, it's very, very impressive. I will say that. Oh my God, don't score another touchdown. I think he's going to score. Sorry, I have Kyron Williams on my fantasy team, and he's just tearing up the Arizona Cardinals right now. But it's just the idea, man. Like, yeah, Chet Holmgren, I think, is going to definitively win Rookie of the Year. And I feel like as the season goes on as well, I feel like Chet Holmgren is only going to continue to get more opportunity, especially if something happens with the Josh Giddey situation. Like, I don't know what's going to become of that, but if Josh Giddey isn't getting any more touches, SGA and Chet are going to get those touches. So I'm not sure what the deal is with that at the current point in time, but I will say this, like, Chet Holmgren was clearly a winner pick for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I still think I think he's gonna win Rookie of the Year. Like, I'm just gonna call it what it is. Like, it's like, especially if he continues to do what he's doing right now on the efficiency numbers that he is, like 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and potentially 90% from the free throw line. Like, if he continues to do that, he's definitely going to be Rookie of the Year. And it's nice to see him finally getting some respect. That's all. Like, I'm just going to say that. Like, it's nice to see him finally getting some respect, because also what's cool about this is, because Chet Holmgren is, like, not a scrub, SGA is getting easier shots out of this too. Like, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is actually, like, getting a lot of easier looks now and stuff like that, because they have Chet Holmgren to worry about. Like, yeah, you could worry about SGA's mid-range jump shot, but if you don't cover Chet, you can't double SGA and just win the game anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, you actually have to cover this 7-footer that not only can shoot threes, but can get to the basket and shoot free throws and stuff. And what's crazy also is that, like, Chet Holmgren is also a bigger lob threat than I expected him to be. Like, he's catching alley-oops and stuff. I didn't, like, really think that was going to be a part of his game so much, because all I saw in college was him basically block shots and shoot threes, and now in the NBA, it's like they're using him as a legitimate lob threat. Like, Josh Giddey's throwing him fucking lobs. So, it's just, you know what? It's cool, I'm very impressed with how good Chet Holmgren has been, because even though you can play well in Summer League, right? Like, we all know players can play well in Summer League, but it's just the idea, like, to take it to the NBA and play against guys that are, like, definitive NBA starters and come out here and actually hold your own against them and put up the numbers you're putting up on the efficiency you're putting up, along with doing it on the defensive end too, averaging almost 2.5 blocks a game. Like, I think that's relatively impressive. And what's even crazier, right? And this is something I want to bring up. I know people don't like advanced metrics, but if you look at Chet Holmgren's, like, per 100 possessions, he's shooting, like, his per 100 numbers are fucking insane for a 21-year-old. We're talking, like, 56% from the field, 43% from 3, 88% from the free throw line, but 29.1 points per game, 3.7 blocks, and 12.9 rebounds with 4 assists and 1.5 steals. Like, that's fucking insane, man. Like, the per 100 possessions numbers are fucking ridiculous for Chet Holmgren. And even what's crazy also is like just in his totals. I mean, if we go to his per game stats, he's also averaging like almost 1 steal a game as well. So Chet Holmgren's a guy that like you thought he was good. He's only 21. Also, like I want to throw that out there. Like Chet Holmgren's not old. Like he's 21 years old and he's doing this now. You know what I'm saying? So. Definitely a lot of room to grow, and I think his ceiling is a lot higher than people anticipated. So, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.